take 2 of the reaction because apparently when I did this reaction before, the video audio kind of poo-pooed. So I has to make sure it works now. So it's now working. I did fix it. Because apparently it turns out my OBS doesn't know the meaning of auto-detect the audio output. So, yay. So hopefully this works. So I've already seen this, but I'm going to try my best to go over my thoughts on this episode instead because I've already reacted to it and it was a total failure because the video audio wasn't there. So I'm going to try my best to get my thoughts on it. And yeah, so it's consider this like a reaction / review kind of thing. But anyway, let me know if you enjoy this on YouTube later. It'll be up on the channel. As for the next stream I do after this, I don't know. Anyways, you want to see the original videos, the links to the original video will be in the description. Anyway, without further ado, let's get this out of the way.
The Scarlet Witch, Marvel's Crimson Queen of Chaos.
Zatanna, DC's magnificent mistress of magic.
There are those who wield the mystic arts like gods to reshape creation to their whims.
Yeah.
And there are those who just like to put on a hell of a show. Either way, don't mess with them if
Yeah.
you know what's good for you. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win
A death battle, even though I already know my gut feeling will most likely be correct, even though I already said that, but who cares?
World seemingly concrete and eternal.
So yeah, they're referencing a bunch of Doctor Strange, Doctor Fate, the Avengers stuff.
Imagine every single iota of it, every star, galaxy, universe, all within the grasp of a single mortal woman. To control at her whim. Imagine the danger we're all in if you piss her off.
We don't have to, because her name is Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. As a kid, she and her brother Pietro were who were lucky enough to be turned into superpowered.
I'm gonna get the
freaks by
elephants in the
High
room out of the
Evolutionary.
way.
Unable to control her
She is not Magneto's daughter,
abilities,
and
it
she is
wasn't
not
long
immune.
before Wanda lost control
That has been
and was
proven
branded
wrong
a
thanks to
witch.
the comics.
Until who would show up but the mutant master of magnetism himself?
Yeah, the guy that
Definitely giving
apparently
us some big dad energy
Wizard doesn't realize does not work well against Tetsuo because he's gonna die. Tetsuo's gonna die to Magneto. Their connections don't match. I'm sorry, if you don't have a proper fight with proper connections, then it doesn't work.
By waving her hands, Wanda could create
Ugh.
small random events known as hexes,
Yeah,
subtly altering the
she could do
probability
that.
of any event happening.
Sorry, I just hate it when people think Magneto is a good opponent for Tetsuo. Because Tetsuo was made in a lab. His powers came from a lab. He was experimented on. Ugh.
Something strange was happening.
I'll explain that whole debacle in another video, which I
as if
hope
there was more to Wanda's powers than met
gets
the eye.
gets
She
proven
learned to
wrong.
slow and stop time, drain and absorb energy, duplicate
I'll
herself and others,
talk about why I
teleport to
don't think
different
Tetsuo
dimensions, and even
should
strip
fight
others of their
Magneto, but
powers
rather Mewtwo.
entirely.
It was almost as if there was more to Wanda than just being some random science experiment. Let's ask our resident expert on the deepest trenches of character history. Jocelyn, if you will.
In reality, Wanda's powers weren't entirely the result of the High Evolutionary, nor was she the mutant daughter of Magneto, as he's claimed. Her powers weren't just some simple hexes. She might as well have been a god. Until now, she had merely been dipping her toes into the vast ocean known as chaos magic, though her powers may have
Yeah,
seemed to
chaos
be a
magic,
byproduct
I'm
of
not gonna read
science,
through all
they were
this
in
again.
reality the gift of the Lovecraftian elder god
It's,
Cthulhu.
like I said, if you want to go back and read all this, the video links will be in the description if you wish.
Summers by the sea with old Uncle Yogg-Sothoth.
In time, Wanda discovered she could alter the probability of anything she could think of, turning a mathematical impossibility into an absolute certainty, and vice versa. Wanda's powers kept growing and growing, turning her into a being
Yeah,
strong enough
pretty
to
much
rival even the
she's
mightiest of
pretty
gods.
brutal.
Like, literally, Wanda's chaos magic is counterpart to the Phoenix Force, the embodiment of cosmic order. You know, that fiery space chicken that can destroy the universe? Wanda fought it, and even briefly erased it from existence.
At her height, the Scarlet Witch achieved total control over energy, the weather, the elements, your mind, your body, your soul,
there's so
all
much
of time,
things that
all
Chaos
of matter,
Magic has to
and
offer in
all
so
of
little
reality.
time. I'm just
She can
gonna
wipe you from existence with a thought
let
and
you
rend
read it
the
when
very
you
fabric of the universe
go to
as
the
though
video
it were
links in the
tissue
description.
paper.
Feel free to go to
She
that
ain't
and
even
read it
limited
if
to
you wish.
chaos magic either. They might not have been what made her a god, but the High Evolutionary's experiments did make her more receptive to channeling magical energy. Oh, maybe that's why Mama Boomstick always warned me about redheads.
She's so receptive, in fact, that Wanda is the lone nexus being of the 616 reality, a focal point for the universe's magical energies, and one that belongs equally to all other timelines.
It's no wonder she was considered a candidate for Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, shit, why wasn't she? She might as well be a walking, talking Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, she may have the power of a god, but she's still stuck with a human's body that can be overpowered by physically stronger foes. Though, she also survived being shot with a black matter bullet capable of, and I quote, world-shattering energy. So there's that.
She does technically need to be able to think of a spell in order to get it to happen, so she could theoretically be blitzed. But she's also blocked Thor's galaxy-crossing hammer, kept up with dudes like X-Man who can fight within plank time, and even
Yeah.
her own speed beyond the concept of speed herself.
Despite being far and away the mightiest among Earth's mightiest heroes, Wanda resented the pressure of her incredible power. She actually wanted a quiet life as a wife and a mother.
But because no one in comics is allowed to have a happily ever after, that life was taken from her by literal Satan. Not the last time he'd do this, too. Wanda snapped, and she took the multiverse with her.
By tapping into an inconceivable and unknowable pool of energy known as the Life Force, Wanda rewrote all of reality, creating a new universe where life was just how she wanted it.
No matter whose lives she had to change, in this House of M, she had her family back, but at the cost of her sanity.
And it wasn't long before it all came crashing down around her. Once her family and friends discovered the lie of their new lives and turned against her, she uttered 3 fateful words and erased nearly all of mutant kind. No more mutants.
Wanda weaved her magic throughout all of existence, created cracks across reality which spread throughout the Omniverse, and threatened to annihilate all of creation, the entirety of Marvel's infinite cosmology. Everything that ever was.
Shit got dark, and while Wanda has worked to keep her powers in check since then, that threat is always there. But honestly, that sounds more like a problem for anyone who's stupid enough to get in her way.
Both a blessing and a curse, a help and a hex. Such is the true power of the Scarlet Witch. Come one, come all. to
Yeah,
see the
now comes
magnificent
Zatanna.
Zatanna. For
Zatanna
never was there a
Good
greater
God, that
professor
is a
of
fucking mouthful of a
digital
name.
performance.
Just now
AKA
noticed that.
Magic! Except Zatanna spells aren't just smoke and mirrors, they're the real deal, so you're really getting your money's worth.
She learned everything she knew from her father, Giovanni Zatanna, who put his powers to good use as one of DC's very first superheroes.
No joke, he's the guy who taught Batman everything he knows about escape artistry. He debuted the same issue as Superman, and the young Zatanna was more than happy to serve as his assistant, learning everything he knew about the cutthroat world of entertainment. Oh, and cape shit too, but the former is way worse.
She inherited her father's incredible mystical abilities as well. Essentially, anything Zatanna thinks of, she can make real. And she focuses this absurdly powerful ability
Yeah, by speaking backwards.
The desired effect backwards. Her father
It's
based
essentially
this technique on the
Leonardo
diaries
da
of
Vinci
Leonardo
bullshit.
Da Vinci, who some theorize
Yay.
wrote backwards in order to hide his ideas from the repressive medieval Catholic
No one
Church.
expects the Spanish Inquisition! Sorry, I had to do the Monty Python reference because they reference Monty Python in this!
Another theory.
Anyway.
If you hate fun.
And Zatanna's apparently big.
Way to go,
enough
Broomstick,
that
you had to
she
ruin
has
Wiz's
no
fun.
problem speaking backwards at the drop of a hat. Like when this one dude kept reversing time in the middle of her sentences. She started speaking in palindromes so that she'd still be speaking backwards no matter what. I mean, you know what they say, Wiz? Go hang a salami. I'm a lasagna hug.
With her magic, Zatanna has bent the laws of reality to her whims. She's transmuted matter on an atomic level, teleported across dimensions,
she also at
commanded
one
the
point
elements, turned invisible,
dealt with
removed powers,
freaking
cast
Trigon.
illusions, read
You
and
know, the
controlled
demon
minds,
that is the
traveled
father of
through and
Raven?
stopped time, and can even wipe people from existence with a single word.
It might not seem obvious from that hokey magic castle getup, but Zatanna is one of the most powerful sorcerers in DC. Like the time she battled the Time Tailor Zor, an old enemy of the Spectre. You know, the Angel of God's divine wrath.
In order to defeat an opponent of such unimaginable power, Zatanna focused her magical might into shattering the boundaries of reality. She reached out beyond the very comic panels themselves and pulled Zor's entire magical universe down around him. She literally handled all of reality like it was a sheet of paper and crumpled it in her hands.
That might seem completely incomprehensibly impossible to us, but it's all a matter of belief. Literally, as long as Zatanna believes she can do something with her magic, she'll do it.
As she puts it, her magic is essentially asserting one reality, then replacing it with another. This is similar to other magical characters like Dr. Fate and Green Lantern, whose powers have been stated to work the exact same way.
But it's not like any rando can do magic by wishing on a star. Zatanna is genetically predisposed to this kind of magical reality warping. Her mom was in actuality a Homo Magi, a sub-race of humans that are naturally adept at magic.
So it's no wonder that Zatanna became an invaluable member of both the Justice League of America and Justice League Dark. The Shadow the Hedgehog version.
It's not the Shadow the Hedgehog version. Don't believe what Boomstick says. Because Boomstick could be an idiot sometimes. I've seen the Justice League Dark films and seen videos on the comics. I know what they're like.
In case you were wondering. Her only limit is her imagination and will. In fact, her backward speaking is mostly a stagecraft tradition meant to boost her concentration.
In a pinch, she can cast a spell with a single thought, and I doubt anyone's winning a quick draw with her. She's matched superheroes like Martian Manhunter, who scanned every mind on Earth in a Planck instant. Or how about Dr. Fate, whose magic traveled across the universe at the completely immeasurable velocity of God?
Zatanna has fended off countless reality-shattering threats like the Eldritch Upside-Down Man, Primordial Darkness, that is evil incarnate, and the Void Beyond Creation.
Somehow puts up with Constantine.
This Shadow Goop lady ate all of DC Comics, all of creation, everything. Gods, demons, rabbits, and spandex, everything. And Zatanna's magic was strong enough to hold her back.
And then, after secretly implanting Swamp Thing inside Pralaya, she weaved a spell within him to literally regrow all of reality back in seconds.
Boom.
Zatanna tricked a being older than God and then blew her ass up from the inside with a whole new omniverse. Abracadabracadabra.
Such is the almighty power of Zatanna's will. Should it falter though, or should her focus be disrupted, it could all come crashing down like a house of cards. Belief is a fragile thing after all, and her powers were weakened for a time after she lost belief in herself.
And she's definitely got one big weak point. She's a huge daddy's girl.
Despite her amazing career, she has struggled within herself to live up to her father's legacy, especially after his heroic death.
And this MFer has died a lot of times, so Z's therapy
Yeah.
can't be cheap, especially after dating John Constantine. Oh, I can just smell the lager and self-loathing from here.
Okay, yeah.
Oh wait, that's
Constantine, the same guy who's dated freaking King Shark. You know, the fucking
the show must go
thing that
and
was,
she'll always finish strong with a standing
a part of the
ovation.
Suicide Squad on a couple occasions.
Alright, the combatants are set.
Ugh.
Through all possibilities.
It's time
The one you
for a
come on.
death battle
Yeah.
with magic.
If you don't know that Constantine was bisexual to begin with, then you need to be slapped with a stick. All right.
Thank you. And for my first trick, ta-da! You, what sort of two-bit sorceress do you think you are? Two-bit? Perhaps I was being generous.
Okay, yeah. I also did find out that originally, in the original comics and original animated series, he had a Russian accent, but they changed it up for the MCU. I don't know why they did that. Oh yeah, we get to reference Superman there's multiple references here, so that's hilarious. And there's the Hulk. Wonder Woman.
Do you know the difference between you and I? Power!
Well, I think the difference is... presentation! And I know a trick when I see one. Universes.
You can't run forever. Now make like a magician and disappear!
Talk about juggling the universes after universes, and there it is.
A disappearing act was the first thing Dad ever taught me. And for my final trick, no more witches.
Yep, I freaking called it!
And that's our show, ladies and germs.
KO! Now that's a magic trick that's to die for!
Analyzing this matchup was like walking on a tightrope. It could fall either way. At
I
any
freaking called it!
Because at the end of the day, both these ladies could do basically anything with their magic.
Ah.
Although think and shit would
Better
happen.
also
They
check
were
on,
totally even. At her peak, Wanda was able to
Dang,
threaten
yeah,
the
it's still
stability
going.
of all creation.
And at Zatanna's best, she was able to hold back Prolaya, who could do
So
the
yeah,
exact
Zatanna
same thing.
so it
And
turns out
despite
Zatanna
some
outclassed
differences,
her
the
in one
omniversal
category.
cosmologies of Marvel and DC Comics are roughly equivalent in size and scope. All that was left for us to look at was their weaknesses.
While both were as powerful as one another, Wanda needed to tap into the life force to reach that pinnacle, and doing so threatened her sanity.
Let's take a closer look at the events surrounding House of M, where Wanda's powers were at their maximum.
Despite admitting that she was way stronger, Doctor Strange managed to get the best of Wanda with a cool head and a spell that briefly knocked her out cold.
His wits against her mental instability were enough to turn the tide.
To be clear, this instability definitely wouldn't affect her power. She was still strong enough to create a completely new alternate reality and then erase it just as easily. What it would do is leave her open.
Also, take her No More Mutant spell. As insanely powerful as it was to affect the whole of Marvel's creation, it wasn't entirely successful. There was still a tiny portion of Earth's mutant population left unaffected, likely due to interference from Strange and Emma Frost.
Yeah.
Against Zatanna, who is just as strong and not losing her mind, she wouldn't be able to afford that kind of lapse, even for an instant.
On the other hand, Zatanna has managed to maintain her willpower fighting foes just as strong as the Scarlet Witch, so she didn't have the same kind of exploitable weakness.
And remember, she doesn't actually need to say her spells backwards.
It helps with her concentration, but all her spells come from her mental impulses, just like Wanda. She's consistently pulled off non-verbal spells in the past, even against beings as strong as Prolaya.
In the end, Z definitely had enough experience fighting smart and keeping on her toes to hang with Wanda long enough to get in a finishing blow.
While there were definitely versions of this battle that could have ended with Wanda victorious, Zatanna's cooler head and effortless magic allowed her to prevail.
I guess you could say Wanda never saw it coming, and Zatanna Maxim offed her.
The
God
winner
damn it,
is
Boomstick.
Zatanna.
Alright, what's
Death
next?
Metal is back, and we've launched a brand new membership.
Actually, I think I already know what's next because my recording failed earlier. But anyway,
emotes, badges, and additional content, and a bunch more. Click that join button to see more info, and thanks so much for watching.
Johnson Joestar, and Tanjiro. Again, I'm not familiar with Demon Slayer. Ah, crap. No, stop. Okay. No, stop! Oh my god, go back. Ugh. Okay. Okay. That's the reaction, and I will say this. It's essentially Doctor Strange versus Doctor Fate version 2, because clearly, I already could tell Zatanna was outclassed. Let me rephrase that. I could already tell Scarlet Witch was already fucked from the get-go because it's Marvel vs. DC. Other than that, the music was great, the animation style was pretty interesting, and the fact of cameos of Hulk, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Thor was actually pretty damn spot on. But now it makes me fear for the worst that is a sign of things to come when they bring Vegeta in. Thanks a lot, Battle, because I really don't want Vegeta vs. Thor or Vegeta vs. Zod, because those battles are fucking boring as hell, and they're easily the most dumbest curb stomps I've ever seen. Anyways, and yes, I will explain why I don't want Magneto fighting Tetsuo, because Tetsuo is telekinetic. Magneto is not telekinetic. He uses magnetism. Two separate, different powers. Like I said, I'll explain that later. Anyways, I'm gonna try to get to a Halo stream tonight. If not, then I'll see what I can do. Anyways, let me know what you all thought of this. The videos will be in the description below. Till then, you're Captain of the Head Fleet signing off. I'll see you in the next stream.